Well met. Does that make you the Arisen? Be at ease. I bear you no ill will. My name is Manella, and I have the honor of serving as a go-between twixt Her Majesty and the Guard. Come, let me buy you a drink. We've much to discuss, and I don't fancy standing round all the while. Shall we make for the tavern? The people of Batal view pawns with great prejudice. They're even forbidden from setting foot in the capital. Her Majesty, Empress Nadinia, has long been troubled by this custom, but a practice so ancient isn't easily overturned. Many are unhappy about the existence of this tavern, even though it lies outside the capital, simply because it was established as a place for pawns to gather. I know not what manner of person you are, but if you would aid me in my efforts to make the people of Batal more accepting of pawns, I would be glad to offer you a residence permit. 'Tis a bargain more than fair, for those who hold such permits may remain in Batal without having their activities questioned. What say you? Glad I am to hear it. Take this then. Simply show it to one of the sentries and you'll be granted entry to the capital. Oh, and if you encounter any troubled Batali along the way, I bid you assist them. They are harsh in their persecution of the pawns, but were they to be aided by the targets of their ire, mayhap a few stubborn hearts would soften. A simple plan, I know, but 'tis the only one available, or so it seems to me. I bid you good fortune, Sir Arisen.
Say, have you heard? They finally caught the fiend behind those ox cart raids.
Aye, they caught someone. But word is he's just an underling. Seems the true ringleader gave him the slip. Captain Benjamin's all bent up over it. Tell is, he's still interrogating the lad, trying to get all he can out of him about the Coral Snake's operations. Wants to make a clean job of it, like.
Well, here's hoping it puts those snakes to rout for the welfare of this city and our stomachs.
All knowledge of this, God's way, stems from the Forbidden Magic Research Laboratory, which can be found here in Batal. However, you would do well to first travel to the Alta Batal coast and seek a man named Ambrosius. For as a researcher of this laboratory, he will doubtless be able to answer many of your questions.
Greetings, Sir Arisen. I have a message for you. Sir Manella would speak with you in the palace. Pray seek her out at your earliest convenience.
Have you heard tell of an ox cart travelling the roads at night? Honestly, I follow every regulation to the letter and only travel during the day. Why can't others do the same?
There's been much talk on the street of this phantom ox cart that travels after sunset. But I've heard rather enough of it. Our hands are full enough as it is.
Oi! You're not planning on going in there, are you? You're better off turning back. That cavern is not for mortal feet to tread. 'Tis a maze, with monsters round every wretched corner. I dare say none could pass through those tunnels and live to tell the tale. A crying shame 'tis. Few's the merchant who can cross yon bridge. I'd thought this my chance to make some decent coin.
Ow! Fly! My back! What do you want? I'm in no mood to have my ear talked off, thank you. My back's afire. I can scarce talk for the pain. Leave an old man be. Mind, I wouldn't say no to some wildflowers, if you happen to have any with you. A handful of those, and I could prepare a poultice that'd help me make it home. What is it now? Unless you brought me some wildflowers, I'd prefer to be left alone. Well, that was most kind of you. My thanks for the trouble. Right, here goes naught. That did the trick. Relief at last. I was beginning to fear that I'd be stuck here for the rest of my days. I've a mind to thank you, sir. Would you look in on me at my home? I live nearby. There aren't too many houses out here, so you'll find it soon enough, I expect.
I? Beg pardon, sir, but...
Forgive me, dear. I forgot to tell you. I asked this good sir to look in on me.
Oh, not this again. How many times have I begged you not to bring strangers into our home?
I know, dear, but this one's a kindly sort. Brought me the wildflowers I needed to make it home when I threw out my back.
'Tis always one reason or another, isn't it? And has it e'er ended well for us? Not once. Mark my words, no one wanders this far out unless they are running from something.
This one's different, I promise you. You've heard tell of the Arisen, have you not? The hero who travels far and wide to track and fell the dragon.
Oh? So this stranger claims to be the Arisen? Believe what you will, but expect no hospitality from me. You may tend to our guest yourself.
You will have to forgive my wife. She has her reasons for being mistrusting, but you deserved a warmer welcome than that. Now let me fetch your reward. Wait here a moment. Oh! Fie! My back! I've done it in again!
Gout stuffer, when will you learn to be more gentle with yourself?
Oh, hold your tongue! All the gentleness in the world won't stop the hurt from coming on when 'twill. It's only gotten worse of late. There's naught for it but to make for the curative spring.
In your state, you'll ne'er reach it. And that's to say nothing of the monsters that haunt the roads out there. They'll be on you in a moment if they see you limping along on your own. Oh, would that I could take you to the spring myself, but alas,
Don't even think on it, my dear. I'd not ask that of you, knowing how crowded places of that ilk make you feel.
But what are we to do? I fear for you, my love. The hot spring over on the island encampment would do my husband a world of good, but the way is treacherous for an injured man on his lonesome.
Fear not. You'll have your reward. I just need to sit still a moment. You'd be willing to accompany me all that way? You see, my dear, what did I tell you? The Arisen's a goodly sort. I've an eye for people.
Oh, don't be a fool, Gaustuffer. You have barely spoken to this person. What if you were being deceived? Did you think of that?
Come. Surely there are far more clever lies to tell if one's intent is to swindle. I'm not sure I can afford to refuse aid so freely given, my dear.
So be it then. 'Tis plain your mind's made up.
We'd best be along. My back isn't like to fix itself.
Pray see my husband safely to the encampment. I shall await your return.
Time for a few... Puh! That's like to make me sick, it is. Still, there's not a swig of newt liquor can't fix, I always say. Bollocks, I'm all out. Boy there, come at a fine time, you have. Care for a rotten egg? 'Twas soft boiled right here in the hot spring. 'Tis mostly sand, won't kill you or naught. Bought me some newt liquor, have ye? Many thanks, Cos. Don't mind if I do. Aye, that's the stuff. There's naught finer than a gulp of newt liquor. After a hot bath, 'tis bliss, pure and simple. But I'll need me a nibble to go with my glug. Down the hatch. Aye, this is a dream come true, 'tis. Suppose you deserve aught for your trouble. Here you are, cuz. A soft-boiled egg, specially prepared right here in the hot spring.
Our road was a long one, but here we are at last.
At last! I've ne'er seen a more welcome sight. The spring here has been visited since times of elves for its curative properties. I only hope 'twill be able to ease the ache in my back. I'll go have my soak now, if 'tis all the same to you. Can't have Cleona fretting over how long I've been gone. Ooh! It twinges a bit.
'Twould seem I owe you a debt of gratitude. And an apology. True to your word, you have seen my husband safely to the spring. I was so afeard for his well-being, I couldn't bring myself to sit at home, waiting, wondering. So I followed you at a distance, though now I see I needn't have. My husband and I are met with persecution everywhere we turn, you see. More than one village we thought to call home has driven us away. That is why we live in so far-flung a place. Gaustaffer can bear the judgment well enough, but I cannot. You, at least, have proven deserving of our trust. My husband was right about you. You are a kind soul, indeed. I shall not soon forget this good turn you've done my husband and I. You are welcome to visit us again, if your travels should happen to take you as far as our abode. I would fain lend you my skills as magic archer maester, and I'm certain my husband would be only too glad to take up his blacksmith's hammer for your sake.
You earned a favor from the magic archer maester without even meaning to.
Short though our acquaintance may be, your kindness and sincerity have earned my respect. And so, to aid you in your duty, I would grant you this technique, my most guarded secret as maester of my art.
Dear, that's the wrong one.
Ah, apologies. Thank you, my darling. Fie. My vision's growing worse by the day, I fear. Methinks it began when I started reading an old grimoire I found whilst tidying the storeroom. 'Tis entitled, On the Transference of Souls. A curious tome, this. It claims to grant the reader the power to summon things from beyond the rift. I thought I might use it to stock my shelves with otherworldly wares. Perhaps you will think me simple, but truly all I want is a better life for my wife and daughter. Yet 'tis most vexing, for the moment I start reading the tome, 'tis as if a fog descends over my eyes. But mayhap there is hope for me yet, if I can get my hands on a quince. They're said to reduce fatigue of the eyes. Would you be kind enough to procure one for me? I must keep reading that grimoire.
I've heard quinces are native to Batal. Shall we see if we can't find some? These writings could be of import.
You there! What are you doing? Escort this guest of ours inside.
Welcome, welcome. In the market for Newt liquor, are you? You've a taste for it, then I take it. Do be sure not to imbibe too much at once.
Well now, if it ain't the current arisen. Faring all right. Have you come for a dip in the hot spring? Or mayhap to speak with me? Aye. That's kind of ye. I was just craving some more of this. But what you hoping for, cuz? Some sort of boon? Suppose I could oblige a fellow arisen. What? Hadn't you noticed? That's a bit embarrassing, eh? I'm a former arisen. Mine, one who couldn't fell his dragon. And if there's aught more shameful than that, I've yet to hear of it. In my case, it all came down to a lack of skill. Mayhap I could fell such a beast now, but my dragon's long gone. Brings a tear to your eye, don't it? But don't cry for me, cuz. Just know that you've got my full support. I'll be glad to see ye succeed where I once failed. Only, don't do it for me. Do it for yourself. Bring your dragon low, and taste glory eternal. I've just remembered. I've got something for ye, cuz. Here ye are. Reckon ye'll make good use of it.
Have you brought me a quince? Many thanks, sir. At last, I may continue reading that grimoire. This could be the turning point in my family's fortune.
Shall we follow, Master?
Well met, sir. You'll be glad to know that I finally finished my reading of that grimoire we spoke of. Which brings me to a curious point. There's a favor I'd ask of you. What happened to my eye? Oh, never mind the bandage. 'Tis nothing serious. Now, as I was saying, I'd like for you to find the grimoire's second volume for me. 'Twould seem 'tis part of a set, and will only reveal its true power when both tomes are in hand. The copy I possess is but the first, one half of a whole. I've heard tell that its twin can be found in a queer little shop in Vermont. Alas, passing through the border checkpoint is no simple matter for a humble merchant like myself. But you, sir, I dare say you are not of Batal. Then you ought have no trouble passing through the checkpoint. I implore you, find that second volume for me. All I want is to give my family a decent life, the life they deserve. This is my chance to provide for them as I ne'er have.
A queer little shop in Vermont, is it? I wonder which of the shops in Vermont matches that description.
I know not what to say.
Mother, quick! Over here! Beg pardon, sir, but I must ask you to stop aiding my husband. He lost his eye while reading that grimoire. His eye! I can't bear to see him involved with that fell thing anymore. But he refuses to listen to me.
He's been saying not to worry, that he'll make us more money soon. 'Tis as if he's lost his mind how much he repeats it. 'Tis all my fault, Mother. He's only been like this since I said I wished we had an easier life.
No, 'tisn't, dear, and don't you fret. Your father, he'll be back to his old self before you know it. Pray, sir, seek out that grimoire if you must, but do not give it to my husband. I beg of you.
Ought we to give Sir Isaac the grimoire as he requested? 'Tis a quandary indeed.
A difficult choice indeed.
Greetings, Sir Arisen. Have you found the second volume of On the Transference of Souls, perchance? Fortune smiles upon me at last. With this, my shop's prosperity is all but assured. Thank you, Sir Arisen. Oh, thank you. Perhaps you'd care to join me. Come, bear witness to this momentous occasion.
Come along. We wouldn't want to lose sight of our guide.
This is it. This is the moment I've been preparing for.
Dear, is this truly safe? I'm afeard of what's to come.
Have faith, my darling. All is well. You need only stand there and watch.
Father, you don't need to do this. I'm happy with our life as 'tis now.
'Tis good to hear you say that, my daughter. But I've come too far. I must see this through. I believe I need only... Ha! Did I? Did I do it? All appears unchanged. A failure, then. Ah, well. I suppose our fortunes were ne'er likely to turn so easily. I've learned my lesson. No more of this grimoire nonsense for me. I'll settle for being a humble apothecary after all. My dears, can you forgive me for my foolishness?
Oh, Isaac.
You two had the right of it all along. I ne'er should have chased after a silly dream like this.
Father, I shouldn't have complained. I know you do your best for us. You always have.
Enough of that now. You've naught to apologize for. 'Tis a father's duty to provide for his children. I only wish I could give you more. You have my gratitude, Sir Arisen. Though I failed in my quest, I've learnt much. And from this moment forth, I'll be focusing my energies on naught but my trade. I hope I can count on your continued patronage, sir.
Hi, folks.
About time you showed up. We've been waiting for you. Our mission is simple. Sir Augustin will board the ox cart, and we must safeguard it from would-be assailants till it reaches its destination. See to it that none approach. The Queen Regent's supporters will come for Sir Augustin's head. Of this, we can be certain. Oh, a quiet day is a welcome one. Come along now. What was that sound? Who's there?
Hold a moment. I'll be handling Augustin's escort from here.
Foul brigand! We shan't allow Sir Augustin to fall prey to the likes of you!
There's no need for theatrics. I know your aim here. Ah, here's a surprise. We met at the tavern, remember? Fair warning, cuz this craven isn't worthy of your trust.
He speaks madness! Subdue him at once, ere he injures our noble charge!
Why, if 'tisn't Sir Ragnar from the tavern...
You would betray me. Have you lost all sense?
You believe me, then? That's a bit of a relief, actually. Thanks, cuz.
I would have preferred not to have to fight so soon, but at least I know I am up to the challenge.
Curse you! All that planning and... for what?
Phew! I appreciate the confidence, cuz 'twas a welcome surprise. But I can't linger here, I'm afraid. My apologies for this. Follow after me, if you can. Succeed, and I'll share the truth of all of this.
Make our own light before we proceed.
Understood.
We meet again. Hoy there. I take it you lost your footing as well? You seem to have fared better than I did. I took the fall for Augustin, only to find myself waist deep in monsters. Still, so long as he escaped, I'd wagered that makes this a job well done. Speaking of, I was to tell you the truth behind all of this, wasn't I? I'll be glad to oblige you, of course, but we ought to get moving first. What say I explain while we search for an exit? Time to get to work. Not bad. From what I've seen of your skills during that mess in the tavern and today's business, I can say you're really something. And my word ought to carry a fair bit of weight, considering my reputation as a warrior of unparalleled skill. Though of late, I've mostly been playing escort to spineless nobles. Turns out, as a sellsword proves himself, the list of those who can afford his services grows shorter and comes to be written in finer ink. Makes for a duller life, though I can't say I've any complaints about the weight of my pockets. Still, I hunger for a real battlefield, where a single misstep spells death. I crave the simplicity of it. There's naught else like it. The clashing of bodies and wills. I'd not say no to a fight with you. Let's have at it when I'm all healed up, eh? Mayhap, I'll not give you a choice in the matter. I'm not sure what's brought me here. I suppose I'll have a few drinks and hit the hay. That escort mission was a trap concocted entirely for your benefit, you know. It was supposed to give those responsible a means to incriminate you. But Augustin is no fool. He had his doubts about his summons to Vermin and hired me to watch over him in an unofficial capacity. So I looked into the cart that would be escorting him, and lo and behold, I found your name. But 'twasn't on the list of hired guards, oh no. Rather, your name was on the list of persons to be on guard for. In short, you had been called in to act the part of the culprit. Mark my words, if you'd carried on with them, Augustin would have been slain, and you would have been held responsible. You'd not have stood a chance against all that if it hadn't been for me. Aye, methinks I've earned my pay this time, and then some. I protected my charge and got you away from the scene without your being branded a murderer and thrown in jail. Now all that remains is to escape this place. I expect we'll find a way out soon enough, if we only press on. Still, I've got to wonder where this craven plot came from, and what you did to warrant it. One thing's for certain, you must have powerful enemies in Vermin. But why? 'Tis not as though you're the Arisen True. What? You are the Arisen? Ha! 'Tis a small world indeed. You've piqued my interest even further, cuz I've no business here. Best I hit the road. Right, let's press on. Judging from the flow of air here, the exit can't be far. Well, this is a right awful place to be cut short. At least you made it out all right. Don't worry, cuz I'll be fine on my own. After all, I can't afford to die here. We haven't had ourselves a real bout yet. We'll see each other again. You can count on that. And when we do, you'd best be ready for the fight of your life.